Shalom, shalom, Israel. Brothers Abba, y'all are coming back at you with a cold cut. I'd like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Mashiach, Malak Shai. This is going to be a very quick cold cut, just going into discernment, time, and judgment. Because as a king, as a prince, officer, captain, judge, apostle, evangelist, whatever you want to call yourself or whatever you want to try to be, deacon, bishop, you need to understand time and judgment. And you need to know how to discern between the both, because there's certain times where that judgment can be off. And there are certain judgments that need to be made at certain times. There's a time to be merciful, and there's a time to enact judgment. And you have to have the discernment. You can't be a fool. I'm going to go to Ecclesiastes chapter 8, start at verse 5. It says, "Whoso keepeth the commandment shall feel no evil thing, and a wise man's heart discerneth both time and judgment." So if you're a wise man, you're going to discern between time and judgment. You're going to acknowledge what time it is throughout the day. You're not just going to just go throughout the day and you never know what time is it, what time it is. You forget to pray. You usually have a schedule set up. You don't have a schedule. You just go wherever the wind takes you. That's not proper judgment, because now you're leaving yourself out there to be idle, man. You're leaving yourself out there for Satan. I mean, they had this saying in the world, hey man, if you're not occupied, trouble gonna find you, man. Yeah, people say, well, I don't know how I get into trouble. It just come and find, because you're never occupied in anything good, and Satan uses that as an opportunity. You have to know time and judgment as a king. That's how you rule. You don't want to make off judgments at the wrong time. You're not asking any counsel. You're just throwing judgment out there when you have time to seek counsel. And now your judgments are off, and the Lord is now destroying you for being a fool. Verse 6, it says, because to every purpose there is time and judgment. Therefore, the misery of man is great upon him. So every purpose is like a plan. There is going to be time and judgment. It takes time to plan out certain things. Read the book of 1 Chronicles, the 28th chapter, where David was giving Solomon the pattern of the temple. That took time. Right? It took 7 years, man, to build that temple. Right? He didn't just do it in a day and try to rush everything, because he was a wise man that understood that, man. Everything needed to go in its proper place at the proper time. Judging between different matters and hewers of wood and drawers of water, and how many men would need to, bring down the wood from Tyre and Zidon, and making trades and making alliances. Solomon knew between time and judgment. Right? I'm going to go to the book of Sirach, chapter 28. You have to know time and judgment as a man, man. Can't just be going where the day just takes you, man. It's Sirach chapter 18 and verse 27. "A wise man will fear in everything. In the day of sinning he will beware of offense. But a fool will not observe time." So the Lord said a wise man discerns between time and judgment, but a fool is not going to discern any time. He's not gonna have anything structured set up in his life or her life. Right? You just wake up at any time of the day. You go to sleep at 3, 4 in the morning. You're not doing the work of the Lord. You're binge watching TV show. You're wondering why you're not in the spirit. You don't have a schedule set up to fast or to call a brother or call a sister. You just don't observe the time, man. Hey, the Lord said you have to understand the times that you're living in. A lot of people don't really understand the times that they're living in. Let me go to Luke chapter 21. That's why the Lord continues to say, watch. But a fool that doesn't observe the time, is he watching? Is he seeing what's going on? This is Luke chapter 21 and 34. "And take heed to yourselves, lest at any times your minds be overcharged with surfeiting." Surfeiting means to have access, right? "And drunkenness and cares of this life, so that day come upon you unawares." Fools that's not observing time and judgment, guess what? That day is going to come upon them unawares. Right? That day is going to come upon them unawares, man. Right? They're not going to understand when Yahweh and the prophecies rolling in, and next when Yahweh cracks the sky, they're gonna be caught out there, eating and drinking, and just not know what's going on the earth. You don't want to be that type of man. So the Lord said, "Take heed to yourself." Verse 35: "For as a trap or a snare shall it come upon all them that dwell on the face of the earth." Because the earth is not looking for this place to be destroyed. But a wise man, he can see the prophecies. He sees what's going on. He's understanding the state of this world. He's linking it up with what the Lord said. And he understands that, guess what? The Lord is coming back. That's why the Lord said, verse 36, "Watch ye therefore, And pray always that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. So watching and understanding the times you in, even on a carnal level throughout the days, just having things structured, having things set up, your study schedule, your work schedule, time with your family, time with the brotherhood or sisterhood in the congregation. Judgment matters. You may have people in your congregation or brothers you may be dealing with that may have offended you one or two times. You already showed them mercy twice. Now you got to enact judgment. Or you may have a brother that never offended you before and went off. You don't just give them the harshest judgment, man. You exact mercy. So you have to know time and judgment in all things. Right? Let's get another precept. Let's go back to that in Sirach chapter 20. Let's go to Sirach 27. Right? It's Sirach chapter 27. And I'm going to start at verse 12. If thou be among the indiscreet, observe the time, but be continually among men of understanding. Indiscreet are people that are not in this truth. People in the world. Your family, old friends. You may be around some co-workers. The Lord said, if you are among them, observe the time. Look at your watch. It's time to go. You've been here for 20 minutes. You don't want them spirits hopping on you. So the Lord said, be but continue among men of understanding. So observing the time is very important, man. It's very essential in your life to watching prophecies, to making judgment matters. You have to, if you want to be a king and you want to be a ruler, a judge, you have to understand the times you live in it and know how to discern between them too. Let me go to one more. I'm going to Romans chapter 13. Actually, go back to Sirach 13:1. Jump down to verse, right? 11, right? Talking about, doing dealings with the rich man and what he would do to you, right? In Sirach 13 and verse 11, affect not to be made equal unto him in talk, and believe not his many words, for with much communication will he tempt thee, and smiling upon thee will get out thy secrets. And this is what your enemy would do to you. They would deceive, like Esau, they would deceive you and make you think, that they like you, but they don't. It's war. They're trying to deceive you, get your information, right? Verse 12, but cruelly he will lay up thy words and will not spare thee to do hurt and to put thee in prison. That's what Esau is going to do. Take the men of the Lord, ask them certain questions, pretend to be like their friend. Read 2 Maccabees 6:30 with what they were doing to Eleazar, trying to beat around the bush and speak friendly unto him. But they will put thee in prison, man. Verse 13, what the Lord say, observe and take good heed, for thou walkest in peril of thy overthrowing. Why would the Lord say observe and take good heed if it was obvious that you were about to be overthrown? Because it's not obvious. Sometimes you have to just observe and understand through judgment and discernment that there are certain people that are not for you. And that's in your life to try to destroy you. And it says, when thou hearest these things, awaken thy sleep. Because you may not perceive certain things. But when you observe the time, when you're watching, you're not sleeping. Right? I'm going to Romans 13:11. Right? Because if you're not watching, you're asleep. Romans chapter 13 and verse 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now our salvation is nearer than when we believe. Right? So you have to continue to watch. And not just the prophecies, but watch over yourself day to day. If you have a family, watch over your wife and your children, their actions, what they doing, if they have a structured schedule set up. So you don't just fall idle to Satan and you just don't see yourself observing the wind. Let me get one more precept. Let me go to Ecclesiastes 11:1. Start at verse 4. He that observeth the wind shall not sow, and he that regardeth the cloud shall not reap. All right, a person that stands outside with his jaw open, his mouth open, you just observing the wind and looking at the clouds. Your head is just not aware. You're just not aware of certain things. The Lord said you're not going to sow and you're not going to reap. Sowing meaning planting seeds, and reaping meaning reaping the harvest, your food. You're not going to eat, man, if you're a person like that. So observe the time, continue to watch over your mind, body, and soul and spirit, and the prophecies. With that, I'd say Shalom.